like to show you how to put together and to construct a slab piece of clay. We've already discussed, and there's another video to watch if you need to, of how to roll a slab out. A slab is a flat expanse of clay, and it has an even thickness all the way through. In this one, I'm going to go ahead and make a small rectangular box. So the first thing I wanted to do was go ahead and measure out the dimensions of the box that I would like to make. I recommend that you use a ruler to cut straight edges. And then any scraps you have, you can go ahead and set to the side, or you can place in plastic, that way it doesn't dry out too much. I'm actually going to recut this one. Alright, so here is my base. One thing to note when you are slab building, especially when you're pulling your slabs up, is you always want to make sure that you brace it. If you are allowing your slab pieces to bend back and forth, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a stress fracture. As you're working the clay, it weakens and then it cracks apart. So I have gone ahead and I have measured my base, and now I need to think about how high and how wide I want the edges to be. I have here measured out two pieces that are going to be the opposite walls. Okay. These are okay to be the same dimension, the same length as the base itself, but the two attaching pieces, you can't just measure the edge because you have to account for the walls that you're putting on, so the thickness of the walls. So let's just say that this is 2.5 inches. When I go to put my walls on, this is actually going to be more like 3 inches, because this is about 1/4 of an inch and this is about 1/4 of an inch thick, plus that 2 inches. Let me know if you have questions and I can explain this more in detail in person. So I'm going to trim this up just a little bit to be the same. I'm going to go ahead and set that there. I can measure it with my ruler. So I'm seeing that that's about 3 1/4 long. This I already know is the same, is approximately the same height. So after I've measured, I can go ahead and cut. And now this piece should be the width of the base plus the extra added thickness of each of the walls. So I want to go ahead and I want to make sure that I do the same thing with this piece. I'm actually going to cut some time off, and I'm just going to trace this piece, put it right on top of another piece of clay, and trace. These actually need to be trimmed up just a smidge. Okay. Now, the clay is in a very plastic state. If I were to let go of this, this would go ahead and it would flop and it would sag. So I want to be careful with these. If you are attaching walls and some of the moisture in the water has evaporated a little bit, your clay is going to be a little bit leather hard and it'll be a little bit stiffer. You can still attach them at this point so long as they don't feel too stiff. Okay. All right, so again, as we know, anytime we put two pieces together, we need to score and to slip. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to think about where does this wall attach to the base of my box. And I like to take a needle tool and I just lightly trace a line. And that gives me an indication of where I need to put my score marks. I'm going to score this. I know that this is on the outer edge of my box. And as long as I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to score the entire perimeter of the base of my box. Now that I've scored, I can go ahead and I can apply a thin layer of slip to this one side. And I can attach it. I like to take and use my rulers as tools. And oftentimes, I'll just go ahead and give it a few pats. But I will also keep my hand there to brace it. So that helps me to push in the wall into the base, but also to keep it kind of even so that it's not warbling and getting out of shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same to this opposite piece. Put my score marks in here. Add some slip. And I can go ahead and brace it. You may choose not to put the opposite wall on. You might choose to just go in order all the way around. And that is okay too. I would say consider the height of your walls and make a determination from there. Now, if I was really concerned about the structure and the soundness of it, what I might do is I might roll a coil and then take this coil and place it in the seam right in the corner where the base of the box and the wall meet each other. I'd put it right in here and then I would smooth it in. I don't think I'm going to need to do that for this one. So now I just need to score the end walls. I'm going to slip it. However, this is not the only place that I'm going to score and slip. I know that these edges here are going to touch the outer walls here. So I need to make sure that I've scored here and slipped. And I want to make sure that I scored this edge as well. So once everything is scored and slipped, I can stick it together. And it looks like I grabbed a wrong piece, and that's okay. We will make it work. I'm going to stick those together, slice off this excess, use my ruler to help push them together ever so slightly, gentle but firm. And then I'm going to do my last final piece down here as well. I've already scored the bottom. Add our slip. It together. And then we're going to go ahead and add pressure. Now it's not done. We still need to smooth out the corners. We want to make sure that those seams are hidden. So you can do that with your hands. You can do that with a rib, or you can do that with modeling tools, whatever you find is most beneficial, whatever is your tool of choice. But that is how you construct a slab box or any sort of slab structure.